So StarCraft 3 is a game in which, guys, we've been talking about now for a while, right? We keep on talking about StarCraft 3, and I plan on continuing to talk about this game because I want it echoed into existence. I want us as a community to continue doing our part in trying to get StarCraft 3 made. And with that said, guys, you know, I made a video talking about how the developers over at Blizzard that are currently working on StarCraft 2 and kind of supporting the game, they want to do a StarCraft 3. Which tells me that StarCraft 3 has been something that is being thought of. It's something that is in people's minds over at Activision Blizzard. Does that mean that the game is going to come out? No. It certainly doesn't mean that it won't come out. It just means, guys, that it's in people's thoughts. It's kind of coming out of people's mouths. The word StarCraft 3, the title itself, is being talked about. StarCraft 3 is something that may be closer than you think. And here's why. The developers over at Blizzard want to make StarCraft 3. What's to say that StarCraft 3 isn't already in development? They want to get people's ideas as to the community, like, would you guys want a StarCraft 3? And I know that we've been making, you know, lots of videos, and a lot of people now are starting to talk to Blizzard, trying to get them to make a StarCraft 3 and hopefully echo it into existence. But StarCraft 3, it really might be closer than you think because of not only people reaching out to Blizzard, but also because they may have been working on this game for a number of years. They may have been working on StarCraft 3. And maybe, just maybe, it's going to get announced at 2020 BlizzCon. I wouldn't be surprised. Because the past couple of years, they really haven't had much at BlizzCon to talk about with StarCraft. Just in general. StarCraft, 2 going free to play was a big thing. But then the StarCraft co-op commanders, which people like, kind of helps continue the lore and the story. But a full-blown game, a StarCraft 3 would, of course, it would continue the legacy. It would continue the lore of StarCraft and potentially just expand upon that, which, of course, it would. But it might be something that's being made currently. It's in development, and it's something that they, over at Blizzard, haven't really had much to talk about because they've been working on StarCraft 3. We already know, guys, that they were working on a StarCraft first-person shooter. StarCraft Ghost, which is another first-person shooter, was canceled a while back, and more recently, an untitled StarCraft first-person shooter was canceled. So they are working on StarCraft stuff. It's not until we hear that it's been canceled that we're hearing something. So what have we not heard about that has not been canceled yet that they're working on over at Blizzard regarding StarCraft? StarCraft 3, guys, may be in development right now. It very well could be. If it's not, we need to just continue doing our thing and telling Activision and Blizzard that we want a StarCraft 3. But we may get our wish this year at BlizzCon that a StarCraft 3 is in development and is maybe pretty far in development. I think there's a good chance of it, that we may get a StarCraft 3 announced this year at BlizzCon. You also look at the difference between, I shouldn't say the difference, but between StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, you had about 10 years between the two of those. StarCraft 2 to a StarCraft 3 would be about the same now. So if it got announced this year at BlizzCon, we'd probably be looking at another year to 2 years before we actually got our hands on the game. StarCraft 3 may be closer than you think, but that doesn't mean that we should stop at this point with trying to tell Blizzard that we want a StarCraft 3. That we want another game in the StarCraft franchise to continue the legacy and the lore and to give us a fresh start from the bad things that kind of happened in StarCraft 2 early on. within the title. StarCraft 3 could revitalize and rejuvenate the real-time strategy genre as we know it. Graphically, gameplay-wise, from an esports perspective, maybe going from 1v1s to 5v5s, or it could change everything. Like how StarCraft 2 really was the first title in which kind of took esports to that next level. Maybe a StarCraft 3 could continue that. Could become the next big esport. That would be something. It could also create completely new stories for us to play. Places we've never been before in StarCraft. StarCraft could be a world bigger than that of some of these other, franchises. Star Wars, StarCraft, or Star Trek. It could be bigger than some of those. But we just haven't really been able to explore as much because it's, only 2 games that we've had up to this point. It would also guarantee us pretty much another 10 years of StarCraft until a potential StarCraft 4 if that were to ever happen. This would at least conclude the trilogy or, the package deal that we've been waiting for, but no one's been talking about it. StarCraft 3 might be closer than you think. Yeah, I said it. It might be closer than we think. Hopefully it is, but we got to keep doing our part and spreading the word to Activision Blizzard that we want a StarCraft 3. As I said in a previous video, guys, as well, that the movement's growing for StarCraft 3. People are starting to say, hey, yeah, I want this. Like, this would be cool. This would be a great idea. Let's make it happen. Get on Twitter, message, or send a tweet out to Activision Blizzard stating that you want StarCraft 3. Use the hashtag StarCraft 3. Let's really build this thing out. Let's make this thing something in which Blizzard says, we got to do this. StarCraft, may I remind everyone, that StarCraft is one of the strongest communities in all the world when it comes to gaming. Here's why. You look at streamers, you look at content creators on YouTube and on Twitch when it comes to StarCraft, and some of those guys are pulling in numbers bigger than people within the Call of Duty community or the Fortnite community or the League of Legends community. And here's why. The StarCraft community puts their money where their mouth is, and there is no debate about it. They support their favorite creators, their favorite streamers, regardless of really what's going on. I mean, they are a very passionate community. So I know for a fact that this community would be very strong even through a StarCraft 3. And if StarCraft 3 for some reason ended up not being that good of a game, you still got StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1 to always fall back on. But let's make it happen, guys. StarCraft 3, would you guys want to see it? Let me know in the comment section below.